think you guys opened the second half on an 18-4 run. What was the message from the coaching staff at halftime?
We just know we let the game get away from us. We let gas off. We didn't apply any more pressure. We just didn't play with force at the end of the second quarter. And I think the guys know if we just apply the pressure we were doing earlier, we can break this thing open. When JK was able to use Steph as a weapon and be able to get a couple back doors, made some wide open threes, get us going. And then Jimmy was going downhill and getting to the free throw line and stopping and setting our defense. Once he be able to set our defense, I feel like we're better. And Draymond quarterback and Steph being Steph, and we getting stops, man. That's what we did mostly is get stops.
Right there, but what does when Jimmy gets to the line 16 times in a game, what does that do beyond just the points?
It sets our defense, of course. And also, I think that no NBA team wants to go against a set defense because everybody knows what you're doing, basically. It just comes down to making and missing and the pressure applying. But he does that 16 times is very impressive. But also put points on the board for us and hopefully slows down the Lakers, slows down Luka, Austin. Even though he had 43 points, you make him have to work hard all night and keep those other guys with rhythm.
Buddy, the preseason was one thing, but what does it say about Steve trusting Will Richard this much in his regular season opener as a rookie?
I think when you come to Warriors, everybody's gonna get a chance for sure. Steve lets him play. And Will's season, he's a national champion. He's played. He's 22 years old. He understands how to play. He understands how to win, and we all trust him. Steve trusts him, of course, and that's all that matters. And now, when you're out there, we all a group. We're gonna teach him as vets, and he's gonna learn. He's gonna mess up sometimes, but with rookies, perfect. And we're happy for him. I tell him to go there, have fun, and he actually made a big three in the corner for us, and I was able to seal the deal for us.
Buddy, back here, you mentioned playing with force, and it seems like Jonathan brings a unique kind of force that maybe no one else on the team has.
He's elite.
So how much difference do you see in him this year? Because not just that force getting into the hoop, but creating passes, getting rebounds, doing other things.
JK is one of those guys that he's probably one of the best in the world, other than LeBron, Anthony Edwards. He's one of the best all-world in transition, especially when the ball going downhill. And this summer, I think he did an initiative just making reads, and he have his group that he has with him, and I watch his Instagram all the time, and he's making reads and translate to practice, and he had a great training camp and great preseasons, and just going to keep translating. He's been working with Jimmy, and Jimmy's been helping him, and it's perfect for him because idolize this game after someone like Jimmy, and it's a long season. We can keep getting better. Some halves can look bad, but he delivered in the second half, and that's all we asked him to do, be him. It's being that big brother mentality, just taking down after practice, and them two down on the court together, just working out, and he's learned from Jimmy. Jimmy's talking to him, which read he's making, which read not to make, and it's helping. And they have a great relationship that they've been working on, and it's good for our team.
Buddy, can you describe your relationship with Jimmy?
You can't figure it out already?
I mean, it's like, is there anything that we don't already know about?
I just don't like him. As simple as that. Nah, Jimmy's cool, man. You know that, as you've seen. Jimmy's cool. Like he said, he's been that spark for his team. And like I said, he just brings a unique vibe that every team needs. And we can't ask much for that.
Buddy, being on the team with such veterans, you're talking legendary type guys, Hall of Famer type guys with a Hall of Fame coach, playing and a coaching career with all the rings Steve Kerr has. Where do you fit at this point in your career? Mentally, where are you at as far as being an integral piece to hopefully getting this franchise their fifth Larry O'Brien in this run they've had?
Okay, just being myself, actually. You can't be like those guys. You just know that when you come into a place like this, you can't be the head honcho, right? Who's ready to head honcho? You just got to be yourself and find your way and be a sponge too. Learn from those guys because what they've done in the past 10 years is phenomenal. It's this league and everybody's been watching them and all I can do is be a sponge and learn. And when I'm in the court, just learn my spots. And every day I'm learning something different and just be that guy to help them get to the next championship. Be the elite floor face I need to be. And when opportunities come, just be efficient and try to be successful in those moments. Yes, sir.
Great. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Have a good night. Get home safe.
Draymond, what kind of tone does this win set for the rest of the season?
None. It's good to get a win, though, to start the season off, but it don't really mean much. We got a lot of things we could improve up on, and we will. I think we left so many opportunities out there, especially in transition, offensively in the first half. In particular, the second quarter, we were wrecked. And so we can correct some of that stuff. But it's good to get off to a good start. We kind of fighting upstream most of last year. You don't want to do that this year, so it's important to get off to a good start. So that's about it. But other than that, it's just one game.
It seemed like you made it a point to kind of find Kuminga late at the free throw line. It was after his offensive rebound. Was that about that rebound, or was it maybe even about, his grander performance tonight?
His performance was great. That rebound is what everyone in the world has been waiting to see. You got that athleticism. You go make big plays like that. You got superstar potential. You go make big plays. Those are game-winning plays. What did we get? Two free throws out of that? Those are game-winning plays. And so, we all can ask for opportunity. When you ask for opportunity, you must deliver. And I think he's been very vocal about his opportunity, and he delivered. And so, when you see a guy that's willing to put their neck on the line and be vocal, and then they deliver, you also must reward them. Because if they don't, you tear them down. That's just naturally what happens. If you be vocal and you don't deliver, you get torn down. So when you're vocal and you go deliver the way he did all night, he was guarding Luka all night. And, Luka, he finished with 39, 40, something like that?
43.
But it was like we didn't have to commit two guys. So you get 43, which I always tell these guys, you're not stopping a great score. That's just not the way this league is set up for you to stop great scores. But you do make it tough on them. And I think all night he made it tough on him. His body on body all night. And so you live with the results. And over the course of 48 minutes, you just want to wear him down. And I think J.K. was all over him. But then, he stayed so patient offensively. It wasn't going well for him offensively early, and he just stayed patient. And as he stayed patient, the game just flipped in his direction. And so it was about the rebound, but the overall of what we've seen since the day he showed up to camp. The force he's playing with, the force he's running with, the force he's rebounding with, the passes he's making, the drop off to Al was crazy. He couldn't make that play 2 years ago, and so he was incredible tonight, and I want to make sure he know that.
Draymond, I know you guys have played the Lakers so many times over the years. This is always like one of those marquee NBA matchups and national TV matchups. But it was a little different tonight. Like Luka out there, and there's no LeBron. Like he's up on his high chair that he's got to sit on right now. And I mean, like, is it weird? It's the first opening night he's missed in 23 years.
Yeah, Bron old ass was over there in his Phil Jackson chair. No, it's always different when he's not out there. I think. Obviously, we've had battles with Luka as well. Luka's an incredible player, but Bron is Bron, and the battles that we've had over the years, you look forward to those, and so it's very odd. He don't miss many games, let alone a season opener, and so it's really odd not seeing him out there. You look over and he's sitting in street clothes. But, that's also why you go ahead and get a Luka Doncic, because he's a 1A too, and he showed that tonight. But I've dealt with what Bron is dealing with, so I don't wish that on my worst enemy. It's you've lived that all day, every day. You sit down and your leg and your glutes start jumping. You know, you just standing there talking to someone, you get pain shooting down your leg and cramps, and you know. So I've lived that. You know, wishing him a speedy recovery. You know, and the thing about it is, it's not like there's no real timetable. Like it's you just kind of got to go and see how far you can push it, and then see how much further you can push it. It's a crappy injury, so definitely wishing him a speedy recovery. I think young fella in Charlotte was dealing with it last. Like that thing is no Trey Man. That thing is no joke. So wishing him a speedy recovery. You know, we enjoy them battles against him, and we're all not sure how many of them we have left. So definitely want to embrace them and have the opportunity to have a few more of them for sure.
Hey, Draymond, Jimmy's play speaks for itself, but what has he been like as a leader, whether it's the San Diego get-together, training camp practices?
He's been a great leader since the day he showed up. You know, we all heard all the talk about him last year, and that's not the guy who showed up to San Francisco. The guy who showed up to San Francisco is the guy we saw tonight. Great leader, encouraging teammates, telling guys what he see and making corrections, selling our team down and getting us good shots. You know, I had one turnover. He came over to me like, yo, man, we just got to get the ball, get shots on goal. Don't turn the ball, get shots on goal. You know, it's just that leadership. And then he's just a constant reminder. Like, he don't let you sulk. He don't let you drop your shoulders. He's going to be right there. Like, nah, man, this is what we're doing. We're not doing that. You know, and so, you know, it's been amazing having him here. And, you know, continue to build. He'll be an all-star again this year. So, you know, it's good to see him back being Jimmy Butler that this league has grown to know.
Hey, Dre. At least from the outside, there appeared to be a perception over whether you and Jimmy would get along personality-wise and whether you guys would, chemistry-wise, be good together. It seems like you guys have absolutely silenced all of those doubts. If anything, you know, Steve said it's two of the ultimate competitors there are in this league. What's it been like with you two, and why has this worked so well?
It's worked so well because he can't beat me in dominoes. And he has the best Ron seller in the world, and I really like having rich friends. And he's one of my rich friends, so no. But like Steve said, you know, I have the utmost respect for an ultimate competitor, and I have the utmost respect for alphas. You know, he's an alpha. You know, there was kind of this misconception of, oh man, Draymond's an alpha. Him and Jimmy are going to clash, but I've never really seen two alphas clash. Because there's a respect for knowing how you are and what you are and how you go about things. And so, yeah, I mean, I think everybody just think I'm a complete idiot and I'm going to get into it with everybody, and that's fine. But one of the better teammates I've had, no question. He's the ultimate team guy. You know, you look at those Miami teams and why they were able to win, and, you know, the way they were. He was uplifting so many guys that may not necessarily be exactly who they looked like in the position next to him. But when you got a leader like that that's capable of creating any shot for you and uplifting you and making you believe you can do more than you can, that's the result of it, you know. So it's been fun having him as a teammate. The chemistry's great. Everybody can stop worrying about me and Jimmy. They should worry about Buddy and Jimmy. It's not me.
Hey, Draymond, you've been pretty vocal in the past about Jonathan. He's going to be a star. We don't trade stars. Tonight, as you said, he delivered. How does that change this team when he plays the way he did tonight?
It just adds a totally different dimension that I don't think any other guy on this team can add for us. You know, we've all believed he's a star all along. I still believe that. And I think he's going to continue to show that more and more as this year go on. You know, we've been kind of running different stuff. So you're still kind of finding your way. And all preseason, I can see him kind of just like, you know, you get a little frustrated because you really don't know where to go. You know, you really don't know how to pick and choose your spots. And he looked like that in the first half. He'll get it, and it's like he should attack, but you're second-guessing a little bit because you're still filling it out. And then the second half, it just started going for him. Like, it all fell into place, And so he'll get better and better. He'll get better. That group that we had out there to start the game hasn't played much at all. Jimmy had been out. So it's going to take a little time to figure it out, and figure the pieces out. But I think what you saw tonight is what you're going to see all year from JK. And it's only going to get better, like I said, because he'll get more familiar with where he should go, when not to go. So, yeah, people like to throw stuff back in my face, so I don't say things that I don't necessarily mean, but I've told y'all all along I think he's a star, and I think he'll continue to show that. The impact he had in the game, he took 11 shots. Looked like he took way more shots than that to me, but that's just because you had an overall impact on everything, and so, yeah, I think he'll continue to get better and better. 6 assists. That got to be a career high also.
One shot.
Oh. Definitely a career high in meaningful games. So,
Steve, there's been a lot of talk post-game about the maturity in JK's game that was shown tonight. One of the things Steve said is, you've kind of taken him aside in camp and had some conversation. I'm just curious what you're seeing out of that dynamic and what you are trying to do to maybe grow his game.
I just want to help JK be great. I mean, he's got so much like just raw talent. And he's so aggressive, he's athletic, he's super smart, and I'm trying to teach him a little bit of what I see throughout the game. And we've been, kicking it, hanging out, watching film, and just working on our game together after practice, before practice, during practice. I know how great he wants to be and how great he can be. So it's now my job to help him fulfill that. Making all the right plays, shooting the ball whenever you're open, attacking, passing the ball, guarding, first and foremost. He's got it. He's got that thing that everybody else has. What you need me to do, I'll do it if it's going to help us win.
Jimmy, to that point, why is it clicking the way that it's clicking for you here right now?
For me?
Yep.
Because the game's easy. Everybody pays attention to Steph. I got the easy job. And when you don't pass the ball to him, you pass it to the open man. You attack, you guard, and you play basketball the right way. Limit your turnovers. I got called for a travel today, as Buddy will tell you. I still don't think that I traveled, but limit those turnovers, and we have a really good chance to win.
Following up on Anthony's question about JK, when he plays like that, how does it change the ceiling for you guys as a team?
He will play like that because he has every single individual on this roster in this corner telling them to be aggressive, be who you are, and we'll kind of like fall in line behind you and make sure that you have any and every opportunity to be great. Don't shy away from anything. You speak up. You're one of us. If we can talk to you any type of way, then you can reciprocate that and talk to us.
But what does that do for the team? How much better can you be if he plays?
Only time will tell, but if he keep playing the way he's playing, being aggressive, shooting the ball at a clip like he did right there, he had 6. See, this is what I'm talking about. 6 assists is wild. Wow. Yeah. I think we're going to be really good if he can pull off 17, 9, and 6. Make it free throws, he have 18, 9, and 6.
Jimmy, you mentioned how everyone is so fearful of Steph, the gravity that it brings to the court. What is him being a screener like he was and a handful of times for JK? What does that unlock?
Everything. You always have to be aware of where Steph is on the floor anyways. Whether he's a screener, off the ball, on the ball, 2 people are going to be guarding him at some point, maybe even 3 at some point in time in any possession. So you just, if he's screening for you, you just got to make the right read. You pass it when you're not open, give it to him, or go and score.
Jimmy, when you were coming up in this league, did you have any vets in your ear or in your corner trying to will like that potential out of you, like you are with JK?
Luol Deng, first and foremost, like he's done the most for me. Ronnie Brewer, Kirk Heinrich, D Rose was super in my corner as well, even though I think he's a little bit older than me. But I had guys telling me how to, get a stop, get out in transition, offensive rebound, get to the free throw line. Those are going to be easy ways to make sure you score your 15. But what's always going to make the biggest impact for myself at a young age, same thing with JK, is if you can guard the opposing team's best player.
Jimmy, what do you think was the importance of getting guys together in San Diego before camp, and what was the highlight of it?
Highlight. I think the highlight for me was watching Steph and myself beat up on everybody in dominoes. Like, it's funny, but he caught on real quick, and he got mad whenever we lost, and then we just started whooping everybody butt, which is good. But I think it was more so just to get everybody together, have some fun, because this season is not going to be all highs. It's not going to be all lows either. But whenever we do hit a low moment, we're like, yo, it's not all bad. Let's take it back to, when we was in San Diego, kicking it, drinking some wine, hooping, having a good time. Like, let's get back to that. So when somebody's having down there, it's always going to be, let's get back to that when there was no stress, no cares, we was around each other having fun. That's what it's going to be like whenever it's good, whenever it's bad, or somewhere in the middle.
Just, this is not my question, but just for your information, Draymond said that he beats you in dominoes.
Who?
Draymond said that.
He has beaten me in dominoes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Steph misses shots. That don't mean he's not the greatest shooter ever. Like, come on now, don't do that.
I was asking about JK and sort of, obviously his contract stuff was pretty loud all summer. He wasn't the thing in San Diego. And when a young player goes through that, obviously you get good press, bad press, whatever it is. But how do you guys as players take that? I mean, obviously you went through that last year in Miami and coming here, right?
You just let people talk. Let your game speak for itself, which it has. And everybody will forget about it sooner or later. You weren't in the wrong. You were doing what was best for you. We're not mad at that. I've been in that before, along with countless other people probably on this roster and around the league. It's behind everybody now. So now he's part of that. I got one goal in mind, and that's to win a championship.
Do you think like him just agreeing to that, kind of getting that settled actually has empowered him to take this next step here?
Yeah. But, I mean, he was going to be empowered to do it anyways because we all want JK to be great. I'm not lying. I'm not kidding. So whether it got figured out or not, he was going to be here, and we was going to make sure that he was great.
16 at the line. What do you want to shoot percentage-wise?
What do I want to shoot? I got a bet with I don't think it's a bad bet, but it's kind of a bad bet. With Dre, that I got to shoot a better percentage than number 30 on our team. Yeah, right? Ooh. Yeah, so.
You think you can?
Of course I think I can. I'm going to have to, but it's a great start. But I shot double the amount that he did, too, so. But I think I could do it. If he go 8 for 8, I should be able to go 16 for 16 most nights, every night. All right, appreciate y'all.
Is that Draymond that he'll have a better free throw percentage than you this year?
That's the first time I'm hearing it.
Do you think it's plausible?
No chance. But I like a little game within the game, so game on.
How big is it? 60 and 60 from the line. How big is it when he's doing that type of night from the line?
No, it's huge just because the way certain teams defend us, the way that we're organized and trying to create shots. He can settle a lot of possessions if we're, not the ball's not moving. We got a lot of those off of second side action, which is always great when defense is kind of shifted a little bit and he can take advantage of a good matchup or a driving angle. And then, it allows us to set up our defense, and it's just good basketball when you can create those types. It's hard to create fouls out of nothing. It has to be off a good action that creates either a mismatch or an advantage, and he takes advantage of those opportunities.
Steph, the sample size really isn't small anymore. Jimmy fits. Why do you think he fits so well within what you guys have built?
He just plays good basketball. Whatever the possession calls for, he sees the floor so well. He's composed when he has the ball in his hands. You can't really speed him up, and I think he understands like what it takes to win, and he doesn't care what it looks like. It's just try to get the job done. So, good basketball with guys that love sharing the ball, using each other, fits right in.
Steph, before your big 35-footer towards the end of the game, JK had that big offensive rebound to set it up. What did he bring on that play and to the game as a whole tonight?
It was great energy, impactful plays. I know Luka got his numbers, but he took the challenge, trying to, make him work for everything. And it's great to have a point of attack defender like that can, again, take the challenge. He's going to continue to get better at that. But those 50-50 balls, decisive plays, especially in the second half when we started to get the ball moving. If he didn't have anything, he got off of it. The ball came back to him in the corner. He hit some big threes. He got to the lane. And like you said, the offensive rebound was huge. So just trying to be in the right place at the right time and continue to make impactful plays. Like we all try to do that because that's what helps you win. And the more he can do that, the more he helps himself and it helps us.
Steph, another opening night game and you're not at home. While you're warm-up shooting, we saw Riley, your daughter, giving you like an assist for your last shot. What does that mean for you to share even these moments with your family?
Yeah, my wife and my daughter here. It's weird because when my dad retired, I was the same age Riley is now. So it's kind of a full circle, knowing the experiences I had as a kid watching and getting to relive that as a dad now. So it's pretty special that me and Ish get to, she got spoiled, a little solo trip, so it was fun.
Steph, Jimmy talked about how he was trying to be, I guess, a mentor to JK, helping him out, showing him things. He talked about the importance of veterans like Luol Deng and Derrick Rose in his career. I was wondering for you, were there any veterans early in your career that kind of helped you, I guess, along your way?
A lot of guys. I think, just watching Monte play, understanding the killer instinct he had. I had Anthony Morrow. He was kind of young at the time, but the Charlotte guy that looked out for me early on. And then Jared Jack, another guy who was kind of a wily veteran that came in at a time that we were trying to take that next step. So it's the way the game goes. You give back to it, and it keeps you sharp too. Because I'm sure Jimmy's getting to see the game and think about it in a way that he can explain it to JK in a way that's going to help him and, like I said, help our team.
Steph, I know this is jumping ahead a little bit. You guys don't practice tomorrow. How much of a test will Denver provide Thursday? And beyond just them, the idea of how eager are you to see where you guys measure up with all the teams in the West? I mean, the West, as usual, is loaded. Tonight's obviously the step you wanted to take. But starting with Denver and Jokic and then moving forward, how do you view sort of the weeks ahead?
Not getting too ahead of ourselves. We know how we started last year and know where it went from there. It's just for us, every game is an opportunity to get better. That's the greatest answer you wanted. In the sense of we're just plotting our way through night after night. The way the preseason went this year was kind of interesting because it was 3 totally different styles that we played in a row: Portland, LA, the Clippers. This week is kind of the same vibe with Denver and Portland back to back. So just for us, is how can you switch the game plan quickly to understand how Denver plays, knowing their tendencies, knowing how great Jokic is him and Murray. So and then some of the additions they have, but we'll take a game at a time and enjoy, this process.
2 more, Ramon, and then over here.
Steph, you guys played so many times against LeBron, especially against the Lakers. These big national TV games, opening night, Christmas, etc. How strange is it to see him sitting up on the throne there instead of in the game? And I think it's like the first opening night he's missed in 23 years.
Yes, I know it's for whatever the injury really is. I'm sure he wanted to play, and it is very different being here and him not out there. But I'm sure for him at year 23, try to be there healthy for whatever the stretch run that he can be there, the meat of the season. So if he's out, I'm sure there's a legitimate reason.
Hey, Steph. It's your 16th season in the NBA, and you have done it all from MVP to championship. After seeing all the young players in China look up to you, after all that love and success, what keeps you hungry?
I enjoy the game. I don't know how else to say it. It brings the best out of me. I get to show my creativity. I love the work that goes into it. I love the competition. And, for whatever reason, physically, I'm still able to do it at a high level. And I'm going to try to get everything I can out of it. But other than that, the game is continuing to grow. And in order to keep trying to lead the pace, you have to kind of dig deep and remember the reason that you're out there. And I've been able to do that for a long time.
16 from the free throw line is, up there with, best Warriors performance ever. How big was that aspect of tonight, what he did at the line?
It's huge. And it was the reason we became a good team last year. As soon as we got him, he provides that stability, the ability to get fouled and go to the line and settle the game down. He never turns the ball over. So he just controls the game out there for us, and we need that. We've always been at our best when we can, provide the support for Draymond and Steph's chaos with some stability. That's what Andre did, Sean Livingston, because the chaos is really powerful, but it can also get away from us. And Jimmy just settles us down, and thought he did a great job of that tonight.
Hey, Steve. Obviously, Jimmy's perception took a hit last season, and then as soon as he got here, he said his joy returned. He said he felt at home. Why do you think he has been such a good fit with this team?
Really, because he complements Steph and Draymond so well. What I just mentioned, the not only the free throws but the ball security. We've been a high turnover team for a long time, and so we need that. His ability to settle down, and when you can get to the line like that, it puts a ton of pressure on your opponent. And on the nights when you maybe don't have the offensive flow, to be able to rely on that is huge.
Steve, you went to the Steph and Jimmy pick and roll, except where Jimmy's the ball handler and Steph's the screener. What made that so effective, especially late in the game?
Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler made that effective. Two of the best players in the league, and you do that because you don't want to turn it over. You want to run some clock, and you want to get a good shot. So you put your two best players in the play, and both guys made big shots, big plays. And I thought Jonathan's offensive rebound was kind of the play of the night for me, just sealing the game with that extra possession that we scored on.
Steve, you've been pleased with Jonathan's play for a few weeks now. What do you think has gotten him into such a solid rhythm early here?
I think he's really, really matured. He's had a great camp. We've had some really good conversations. I think he has a better understanding of, what we need. You saw in the first half, he took a couple tough mid-range fadeaways that we don't want. He immediately held up his hand. He realized, that was not the shot. He had, a couple turnovers where he drove into traffic. And second half starts, and, the whole talk at halftime was, let's use Steph Curry. Let's use his movement and put pressure on the defense. And because we didn't do that in the first half. And Jonathan, the first few plays of the third quarter, it was beautiful. He screened for Steph, slipped to the rim. Draymond got him a bucket. We ran our split cut stuff. They both went with Steph. He hit the wide open three. I think he just has a better sense of what's needed now compared to past years. And I think Jimmy has really helped him too. Jimmy has really talked to him a lot during camp. He's taken him aside after practices, and I think Jonathan is, you got to remember he just turned 23, So I talk about this a lot, but, he's basically, he played, 8 games in the G League bubble. and came to us basically as like a freshman in college. That's how I looked at it. And so a lot of the players today just don't get the same experience, reps that they did years ago. And for him, it hasn't been easy to find minutes on our team. And I'm really proud of him for staying with it and really maturing. And it was a great start for him and for us.
Hey, Steve, over here to your right. First game out of the box, you may not be exactly sure what it's going to look like. How close did this come to what you had hoped to see?
Second half is what we're hoping for. 6 turnovers, really good flow offensively, ball movement to force the defense to react. That's the team we're looking for. The defense I thought was great in the first half, other than a few fouls. But Draymond was just a monster, guarding the whole court in that first half. It was amazing to watch. But second half, that's how it has to look for us with the ball security and the movement, and Jimmy and Steph, playing through those guys and everybody else kind of filling their roles.
Steve, following up on Nick's question about Jonathan, it seemed like you mentioned the tip rebound late in the game, but also seemed like a few times he used his speed and strength to make a pass that maybe he wouldn't have made. And it seems like he's making quicker decisions, which is something you're always harping on.
Yeah.
How much is that part of his game essential to sort of what you need? And
yeah, it's a big deal. It's a decision-making sport, and all 5 guys are going to touch the ball, and they all have to make decisions. And as I said, our decision-making in the first half was poor, and second half it was much better. Our spacing was better, and JK made some really big plays and took care of the ball and was in the right spots, and it was an impressive performance.
Hey, Steve, back to Jimmy. What are the things he does that puts him in the position to make the right play, whether it's finishing or getting to the foul line? The pass?
Just incredible strength, physical strength, and incredible fundamental base. 4 years at Marquette. I think it was I know he played 4 years of college. I think it was all at Marquette, but fundamentally sound, and then crafty. You saw Luka drawing fouls left and right. Jimmy's out there doing the same. When you're that strong and that fundamentally sound, and you have that big of a brain like Luka and Jimmy do, you just constantly are finding angles and creating contact where it's a foul on the defense. And not many guys can do that in the league, but both those guys tonight did it beautifully.
We know you've been a fan of Will Richard this preseason and training camp, but at what point did you know that you could trust him to play real rotation minutes?
I think it was after the first couple of exhibition games that he played in. The first week of camp, we're just installing stuff. We didn't really get a great look. And then a couple of exhibition games, you just see him constantly making the right cut, being in the right place at the right time, like he was on that late clock offensive rebound that he scored on. Was that his first NBA hoop? I don't know. Maybe it was, but we gave him the game ball afterwards, for his first hoop, and I told him that, and I think it was his first NBA hoop, but I told the guys that usually I know when it's somebody's first hoop, and I make sure we get the ball from the officials right away. I completely forgot tonight, and I told the guys the reason I forgot is because Will looks like he's in his 7th year. He doesn't look like a rookie out there. And we eventually tracked the ball down, and he got it. So great night for Will. It was fun.
Steve, what made the spacing between Jimmy, Jonathan, and Draymond so much more effective tonight compared to some of the issues last season with that?
Well, I'm going to have to look at the tape. I didn't think the spacing was good at all in the first half. Second half was much better. I think we kind of have our spots that we have to get to when Jimmy is in isolation, and I think we did a better job of that in the second half. But and the ball movement, if you don't have spacing, if you can execute and get the ball moving side to side, that opens up possibilities too.
Steve, at least from the outside looking in, I think there were some questions when Jimmy came here whether Jimmy and Draymond would mesh personality-wise. Seems like that has not been an issue at all. If anything, the opposite has happened. What have you seen behind the scenes from their chemistry and their relationship?
Yeah, I mean, two of the great competitors in the league. So being on the same team, I think they love competing together. It's just impressive to watch just how competitive, how physically tough, how smart they are, just making the right reads at both ends over and over. Yeah, they're loving playing together for sure.
Just how do you think, just in general, the starters looked, and then to kind of follow on that, totally different look on Thursday with Denver. Do you anticipate going with this look again, or maybe Al in the starting lineup? Just how do you?
Yeah, possibly Al. I mean, it's what I've told you guys last week is I don't want Draymond starting at the 82 nights. So there will be nights where we start bigger, and we'll figure that out. Thanks.